Hi everyone, I'm Matija from Make.TV,
I'm Chris from the ESL.
and we're opening the Fringe Theatre for EGX this year. So, the topic of our talk is about using the cloud to scale the operations during tournaments, which is what it says up there. And we're here to walk you through a few of the challenges, a few of the kind of the way things have progressed, and especially Chris is going to talk about how they did it at ESL, what challenges they faced, and from my point of view, it'll be about how we help with technology, with our products, to make this happen, to a certain extent in contrast with traditional broadcasting, and also how the flexibility of the things you can do in the cloud can help you make decisions in really short amount of time. So, first a bit of background of what ESL is and what they do.
Yeah, as we're here at a gaming convention, I assume like most of the people, or hopefully a lot of the people know what ESL is, but let me start at least a little bit. ESL is the Electronic Sports League. We've been founded in 2000 by Ralf Reichert, our founder, who was a passionate gamer back in the days already, and had the vision, okay, hey, there's no playground for competitive gaming, so I started building up this platform, and then starting with doing small events. Back in the days, funnily, I did an internship at Turtle at 2005. So when they were super small, we did just in Germany small local events. Like every Friday night, we went to small internet cafes and had an audience from 50 to max 100 people, and there was competitive gaming. And if you look at us now, we're fulfilling stadiums. We're doing like major events all over the globe. Our core products are the Intel Extreme Masters is one of our series. We're doing 4 events of them per year. Then we have our ESL One product, which is a series we do 6 of them per year, and then another O&O big series is our Counter-Strike Pro League, where we do 2 offline events per year as well. So overall, we're doing like 12 events, just our ESL events per year on a global scale. We started in January with Dota in Malaysia, then moved on to Katowice to one of our flagship events in Poland, also with Dota and Counter-Strike. Moved on then to Sydney for Counter-Strike, then for the first time to UK, to Birmingham, which was quite a success for us, and unforeseeable success, to be honest, because it was the first major event here in the UK, and it was sold out pretty quickly, and the crowd was amazing. So I guess we're coming back. And then we had our big event in ESL One Cologne. Next week we're flying out to New York, then move on to Chicago, and then the grand final of Pro League will be in Odense. So we're traveling all over the place, and you can compare our events. I don't know if some of you guys already attended or have seen them. You can compare them with like the Super Bowl or the World Championship or like these major events. So full of a stadium, like maximum amount of people is like Cologne is one of our successful ones with 15,000 people on site, sold out stadium. A general event of an ESL event is like it's a huge amount of content. Like the average days are like 6 days is an event long. So we start normally on a Tuesday with the group stage, which is not in front of the crowd. It's most of the time it's like when the players arrive and the teams arrive, we set up like a professional playground for them in the hotel, where we do the streaming from the hotel with a small setup with our casters and analysts. And parallel to the group stage, which is normally then 3 days, is the whole huge stage setup in the stadium. And then when the group stage is over on a Thursday evening, we tear down everything, move to the grand venue, do a little bit of rehearsal, and then start in front of the audience the main event. So a lot of content, a lot of products, and Yeah, and that kind of stuff also has to be like delivered to the audience and the community, and that's when Make.TV came in back in the days.
Yeah, so if you imagine, Chris spoke about bigger events. Now, this quote has to be put into context. It's different to, let's say, traditional sporting events, in a sense that, there's from production point of view, yes, there's cameras, there's people, but going outside of the venue or participants, it's much more, complex in terms of different teams, different groups, different subscribers, or how you distribute the signal. So, for us, having our content or our applications in the cloud, we're much more flexible. We can add things on the fly, and also for the production, if new, let's say, distributors wants to receive the stream, they can just sign up, or they can be added fairly quickly. It doesn't have to be months in advance to get to this. So we talked about this earlier to put this into context. Why is this quote relevant in terms of how you do the production for the in that scale?
Yeah, it's like when we're on site, we do from all our events. Normally, we produce 3 streams. One stream is our program stream, which is the English broadcast stream with all the graphics and everything. Then we produce a mix minus caster stream, which is pretty important for our localization. So we produce a stream which we push to the Make.TV cloud without the casters. So you have to imagine, like ESL One Cologne, for example, it's broadcasted in 25 languages. So we have our localized studios all over the world, like bigger studios. For example, in Poland we have a hub. We have a hub in Latin America, but then there are also these smaller broadcasters, like in Taiwan, for example, which is kind of like a, let's say, small streamer who's sitting at home with his just streaming setup, or his mic and the stream, and he receives from us the stream as well, and then can do the big ESL One Cologne event in Taiwanese. Of course, probably there will be only, 500 people watching the stream, but there is the opportunity to have a localized stream. And the third stream we are providing as well is the taker or the world feed, which is pretty important for our linear TV takers, because more and more linear TV takers are coming into this lovely field because it's interesting. A lot of young people are in there, and so we have to provide a feed as well without commercials in there because of the linear TV restriction and stuff like that. Why are we doing it via cloud? Because it's as he already mentioned, is the flexibility and to add fast new takers. Like normally, as you're all gamers, there's Twitch outside, there's YouTube outside, there's Mixer outside. More and more streaming platforms are coming, smaller ones, bigger ones. And there are contractual obligations of partners or whatnot. They all want to have content. Content is king. And so with this stuff, we can easily add just the feed to, let's say, okay, we have a new partner. Twitter comes in, for example, and say, okay, we want to have a Periscope live feed. We can add it via the cloud. We can add it easily to Facebook. We can easily add it to Twitch or whatnot, or to even smaller platforms, without long planning, so to speak. In a perfect world, of course, there is long planning, but we all know, hey, the whole esport world is high-paced, fast. A lot of people are still like, okay, what is it? Let's try it out on a short notice. And that's something we can easily add via the cloud streaming. So we're not restricted via old satellite uplink, downlink stuff. So all our feeds, even if we send them to linear TV takers, everything is via public internet and via the cloud. So there is no old dinosaur technology with satellites and stuff like that. Also because if you imagine, or if you compare it to traditional sport, again, let's say soccer grand final, you have 19 minutes, or let's say at 120 minutes, 3 hours in total max, and an esport day is in average 10 hours per day. So it's also a cost efficiency thing where this whole cloud streaming comes in.
And going to individual takers of the streams, obviously they don't need any expensive infrastructure. As you mentioned, in Taiwan, a streamer could just receive a feed ad hoc and just start using it. Now, if we look at some numbers, this is hours consumed live between 2017 and 2018. And once you have your infrastructure in the cloud and you're able to scale, you can use this to reach as many viewers as possible. So these two numbers is 2018 is combined worldwide viewers of that, of specific content. And if we look at linear, yes, if there's one channel, you can broadcast it, you have certain audience, but with streaming, you can reach multiple platforms, multiple sort of content distributors. And how was it for you to go from, let's say, from the beginnings and then just grow this, by getting people just to kind of want to have it?
Yeah, in the end, the big difference is like when we started, there was like back in the days, there was no Twitch, nothing. So the first streams we did on our own small player and reached, I don't know, 100 people max. And then it was like, oh, hey, second event was, oh, there were 200 people. And okay, there's an interest stuff. And then when Twitch, for example, came in or Justin TV back in the days, so all the first small streaming platforms, it was still super easy or comfortable. Okay, you only had you produce one stream and you push it to one platform. Now to reach higher numbers and bigger numbers, it's all combined with different platforms. So that's why the cloud streaming is so important, because you can scale up and make deals with different kind of streaming platforms. Of course, they are all interested in gaming in general, but then the whole esport topic is super interesting, and so they want to have like the premium content, of course, and premium content is what ESL is providing. Like we have the top teams, the top players, the top casters, top-notch production, and so they of course want to have a piece of the pie, so to speak, to promote their platform as well, and get views to their platform, and that's why the cloud streaming is super important for us to scale up, so to speak, and have the flexibility to easily provide all our feeds to different kind of takers, and also like localized version. We can say, okay, hey, we have the English stream exclusively on Facebook, but all the other streams the localized streams are on Twitch and YouTube. So then the media rights topic come in as well to say, okay, hey, yeah, this platform bought the rights for that. So here we are close to the traditional sports as well.
And to go back to the linear TV, because even though it's in the cloud, you could still deliver this to a decoder, get SDI out, just publish it in a normal way. So it's not displacing anything that's traditional. It's also allowing you to use it alongside some of the traditional broadcasting, and then go in, for certain events just in the cloud. And for some of them that they're interested in, you could simply deliver it to broadcasters or other.
Of course, at the beginning it was when talking about linear TV takers, it was always like, hey, okay, now we are only providing it via internet, and then of course the first reaction is, okay, I'm afraid of, is this secure? Is this reliable? Is this can I show it, because they are just used to satellite TV? But it took some talks and it took some time, of course, but in the end now all our takers are happy with receiving a digital feed and an internet feed, and it's working out easy as that. And there are always some other TV channels we have to convince that it's all good, but we're getting more and more there that they are all happy with this kind of delivery of the content.
So going back to that exactly, it's the perception is, if you look at like bit rates and reliability, public cloud, what if there's no internet? So how did you, within your production, how do you make sure that it's constantly streamed? Obviously there's some agreements between the content distributors that you need to fulfill. So
in the end, it's like, why should our audience be different from any other audience? Like, of course they want to see good quality and the highest quality, and we all know that the internet community is a little bit more critical than maybe other viewers out there, or at least they got a forum to blame us or to blame everyone else if something's not working out. But of course, we want to and we have to produce good quality. Like also, if you don't produce back now at this point, not producing in 1080p 60 or something, then you don't even have to start to produce an event. And let's see, but I would say in 1 year or something around that, 4K will be the next standard, or at least it will start to be produced in this kind of quality. And so of course we have to make sure that there's a signal. And yeah, that's why it's working, or it is working. So, and of course you never have the 100% guarantee, but that's also in the classic broadcast as well. Like if your satellite uplink is burning down, then you don't have a signal. The same as when our internet line crashes completely, and that's then our IT topic. They are making sure that we have enough upload and everything, and a backup line and everything. But yeah, it's working.
So in early days, obviously, you started building this up, but nowadays anyone could, download OBS, screencast, do things, add another app to it, distribute it to multiple destinations in that sense. So the perception is sometimes, it's easy, right? It's just a screen, you push it out, right? So, I mean, obviously it's like this. If something looks very simple, usually there's a lot of complexity behind the scenes that that it's there, the way you manage different things. And this is where our live video cloud and our playout products come in, that ESL uses to, first of all, acquire the content and then use the recordings later on. You have some things that go through live, which is basically just passing it through to the platforms, public ones or specific subscribers as clean feeds or certain mixed content. But the true value is if you record everything, and this is really, if you have it in the cloud, obviously it still costs money, but you don't have to keep adding storage locally if you want to keep certain things. You can just say, I want everything recorded that has been captured. And we were just, talking about unlike a real event where you have to place a physical camera in a virtual environment, you could have 500 cameras. You could have theoretically unlimited number of points of view. So by being that flexible, you can add those things, and then, later on, what do you do with the stuff that doesn't go out live to make sure it's still kind of bringing the eyeballs to your productions?
Yeah. So if we have a look at this graphic, it's a little bit what I described before in terms of what kind of streams we are producing, and I think again, which is what is kind of important, is like normally we produce the 1080p 60 feed, like the gaming standard at this point, but there are customers out there who need specialized transcoding for their platform. For example, like there's a platform out there say, okay, hey, we push into the cloud a 1080p 60 stream, but they only can receive a 720p 60 stream. So this is all done in the cloud as well, or transcoded up and down, or a different bitrate, and then in TV channels need a bigger bitrate and stuff like that. So this is all done in the system. And in terms of the recording, it's like, back in the days, it was like, okay, we had the recordings and we used all the footage. Then afterwards, for hour after movies or VODs, you were able to watch it like on YouTube, for example. But we also use another system from Make.TV, which is called the Playout, where we feed in all our recordings and create on Twitch or on YouTube our 24/7 channels, which is kind of easy. So we have, and if you go to Twitch ESL_CS right at the moment, you will see a rerun of ESL One Cologne probably right at the moment, and it's a 24/7 stream, and we have constantly viewers on this stream without any effort. So it's rooted into the system, and there's this 24/7 channel, of course, and we got the ad revenues, so to speak. Like we have the normal Twitch breaks in, which are sold, and so we make revenue out of it, and there's no actually effort for us. It's just for the viewers, they are happy. There's a stream, they can watch Counter-Strike, and it's interesting to see that even if you have the VODs on YouTube and stuff like that, yeah, they stay on Twitch in this case, and watching our streams like a TV channel, and enjoying the games again. And then if we have like a live event, then we switch this channel from 24 to the live feed, and after the event, constantly already starting the rerun of this actual event. So this is another revenue for us, which came in when we started the player 2 years ago, where we have let's see to create, in this case with Counter-Strike. We also have other channels. We have one up with StarCraft 2 running, and it's also a little bit a testing field for us as well, to see, okay, hey, we got the opportunity, let's try a Dota 2 channel and see how it scales, and then how the viewership is. You can start building up the viewership, and there are also the opportunity for us to put more effort into these channels, so to create our own little digital TV channel. So in theory, we also can start doing moderations around it, have a host of the channel, and put like our trailers in there and stuff like that. Right at the moment, for us, it's just a rerun station, but plans are, of course, to put more effort, more love into it, and have then a digital version of a TV channel on a really low resources, not like with a less effort than having a huge TV station, so to speak.
So would you say that because it was, in a way, easy just to spin this up in the cloud, have it there and experiment, there was much more interest in playing with it, figuring it out, or the effort needed to create another one was so little that you were more willing to see what works, what content you can play?
Yeah, because it's like it's not like that that we need a lot of, like, okay, now we have to think about and then get the people in there, blah blah. We have the guys who are handling our live video cloud and also the playout and getting the VODs in there, for example, or do some small cutting, and so it's, as we have the recordings for Dota 2, for example, then it's easy for us to put in. We as an ESL, we are there now from 2000, and in theory I can start tomorrow and say, hey, let's see if an archive or an history ESL channel is working out with, back in the days, Counter-Strike 1.6 content, and see, hey, maybe the crews out there or the communities out there is highly interested in stuff like that, and yeah, we can play with it.
So we've also collected some of the statistics together with you. What did this mean to your content, to your viewers, and also at the end ad revenue? So if you look at on our playout side, you can look at how many viewers are currently viewing on multiple platforms. So you have one playlist that can push to a number of different destinations, linear as well as sort of cloud-based. And so this is the first statistic. So 40% increase in viewers just by using the content that you already have. So was that a sort of a surprise, or was it, how did it work out based on what you were trying to do and what that actually did?
As I said, for us it was surprising that there is, especially, and I stick to this Counter-Strike case, is like there's so many Counter-Strike content out there, and the market is so competitive. There are so many tournament organizers out there, and in theory, I would say there are probably every 3 weeks there are big tournaments here just around the corner. Right at the moment is the major as well, like from one of our competitors, and all the big teams are there, but we still have on our 24/7 playout channel, we still got an average something around 1,000 to 5,000 viewers, which is super interesting, because from my gut feeling, it was like, okay, hey, well, why would someone watch like a rerun instead of watching right at the moment live the big tournament right at the moment? And that was of course kind of surprising for us. And actually right at the moment Counter-Strike is working pretty well. With the other ones we're still playing around, but yeah, that was an increase out of nowhere.
So, and then the next one, which is even more surprising, is then looking at the ad revenue, because obviously you need to make money somehow.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and of course, it was a 100% ad revenue because the system wasn't there. So easy as that. And
it's a bit of a statistics kind of thing, but from content that was sitting there doing nothing, you were able with little effort just spin up and start generating the not just ad revenue but also interest, I suppose, for the other events that go live.
Yeah, yeah. We use it as a promotion platform because, like right at the moment, for example, in our 24/7, there are also our trailers scheduled in terms of, hey, buy tickets for in ESL One New York, for example, or then end of the year Intel Extreme Masters in Chicago. So we use this tool as well as, or the channel as well, to promote our events. But then again, as it's normal, there are per hour there is one Twitch commercial block scheduled for 5 minutes, and yeah, it's easy money for us, so to speak.
So looking at the future, what you can tell us, obviously, what's the direction? I mean, what are the additional things that, from the point of obviously flexibility, scalability, that you can do much better now, for future events, or maybe additional content you can provide outside of what you're currently doing?
So the flexibility to add more takers. This is like one of the biggest advantages, I would say. In a perfect world, I would love to like if you compare it again to traditional sports, for example, if you're the rights holder for UEFA Champions League, for example, it's like, okay, before the actual live match starts, you get a feed from the UEFA where you get, like, let's say, random pictures like from the players, and you just push a feed from different cameras, so that the right holder get the opportunity to have some interviews, to have like additional content and other camera shots, so they can build their own program a little bit and then build around their analyst studios and everything. So this is something I want to invent in somewhere in the near future as well, to provide these additional feeds before our events, so that if you're a rights holder of the ESL One, you get the opportunity, like 1 hour before the event starts, you get all this feed to your TV station, and you can cut your VTRs on your own. So this is all the stuff we are planning to get into the cloud as well, to provide more content to the right holder.
So how about the data, the statistics? Again, I mean, we're going back to traditional world and esports and all that, but if you look at the way you'll get, let's say for traditional sports event, you'll get an Opta feed that you feed into different machines and all the things. But in your case, you have all the data from the games already with you. So is there something that you could do with that, or how that could be used for the live events, or for to provide more to the distributors?
Yeah, that's the other thing. The whole storytelling in esport will change, or will be adapted as well. But as you said, like the games, most of the games have the open API, and you get so much data out of the game. You don't have to collect manually, like in soccer. Like, I don't know, Cristiano Ronaldo touched the ball 5 times in the game, and someone is counting it in the games like Dota or Counter-Strike. You have the API, and we get so many data out of it, and we just have to and that's something we are working on as well as with our broadcast innovation unit, to get this data visualized also in the feed, to use this data to get a better in-game experience for the viewer, because this is our core business. So to say, hey, to get the best in-game experience for the viewer in terms of camera angles, in terms of data, in terms of casters, everything else. And that's probably the biggest difference if you compare it to traditional TV. Again, is like when you say, okay, you got a football match, and you're in the OB van, everyone is kind of doing the pre-show and stuff like that, and as soon as they were in game, they got their 20 cameras around the field, and they are doing the show. If you come to one of our events, it's we're doing the pre-show in the normal truck, and as soon as we are going in-game, the guys in the truck are kind of relaxed, which is kind of confusing because it's our core product, but the in-game part. But as soon as we go in-game, our in-game unit take over the whole production, because these are specialized persons who are doing the observing, the streaming and stuff like that. So it's separated from the actual broadcast. These are 2 production lines who are well connected together, and as soon as we're in-game, the experts take over.
So one part of what we do in the cloud is also we enable individuals, so non-professional kind of teams. They could link up their video into the cloud. They could start sort of live streaming. Do you see, in particularly for the events, so for audience participation or gamer participation, to include that into the live events as well? So you don't have only your angles, but just open it up to as many others that you have, or either remote, just watching the games.
Yeah, it's. You mean the tool that you have the opportunity as a viewer to send your feed to us? Yeah, that's the interaction as well. Like something we probably will play with in the future as well, to say, hey, okay, you as a viewer, send us your feed, how you're participating or how you're watching the ESL One event, and you get the community feeds into our broadcast as well. So yeah, there are tons of opportunities to get the community or different kind of video feeds into our show. Yeah.
Good. So this is pretty much what we had planned, but there's some time for questions from the large audience in the room. So in a nutshell, it's basically Make.TV provides live video cloud to acquire the feeds and play out to kind of combine them. And we've been working with ESL for a long time now to for them to be able to scale. And also for us, we've learned a lot in terms of the products and how things work, and particularly in the way how certain things like playing back old clips. Not that we had no faith in it, in a sense, but it's strange because if you did that in a linear TV, it would be just crazy, like just reruns. But at the same time, it's also surprising that from the mobile users, that they would watch a linear feed. They have the ability to click anything in the library, any clip, any game, but they stay with the feed that, partially because it's ESL, it's curated to a certain extent. But it's funny how it's going, from video on demand to basically linear consumption of the content. So, any questions?
What's the biggest failure you've encountered, and what did you learn from it?
You mean production-wise, or?
Anything in the course of what you've been doing, what was like the thing that, if you look back at it, you went, that was like the biggest disaster that we had to deal with, and what did you learn from it?
Let me think. Like actually, like last year at ESL One New York, for example, it was kind of a disaster because no, it wasn't a disaster, but we had as I mentioned, the group stage in the hotel, and the production line was already in the venue. And in New York last year, for example, we had the group stage in a hotel in Brooklyn, and our truck, like the broadcast truck, was already in the venue, and it was connected via internet and everything. And then some vandalism somewhere in Brooklyn happened, and the whole internet went down. Like the whole part of Brooklyn had no internet, and so we had the backup line from our IT guys did something, but we did not receive, for example, like the camera feeds from the hotel to our production van. This is something like, okay, and then they built up something with mobiles to like 4G to get at least some bad camera feeds. So like this is kind of the stuff which is kind of a disaster. Or also like we decided to like when we started the ESL and was organic growth of the company, like we did everything on our own. Like we started with one camera and one computer and had one stream, and then there was like, instead of 50 people, there were 100 people, so we bought a second camera, and then a third, and then a fourth, and then a mixer, and then a second mic. And so that's how the company grew. And now we decided to go with an external partner. Like we are working close with NEP, like a classic broadcast company, OB van provider, who's coming to all our major events and is providing the technical setup. to browse with cameras and the classic broadcast stuff, and then it gets combined with our in-game stuff I just talked about. And that was a big challenge at the beginning as well, to get these two worlds connected. Because coming from a classic TV production van, it's like for them it was like, okay, hey, we are doing everything in 1080i, and then the gamers are coming, yeah, we need 1080p 60. That was a huge challenge for them, and they for them it was like, and don't get it wrong, but for them it was like, okay, hey, we are doing like the Olympics, we are doing the wedding of the royal wedding here in the UK, we are producing this huge stuff. Now let's do this computer stuff. And but seeing them then afterwards, like doing a 6 days in a row event with 10 hours broadcasting live, with these many signals, with this high pace, with totally different frame rates and everything, it was challenging at the beginning, but yeah, we found a way, and now we have a successful and cool partnership, and that I would say was these two things.
So you talked about the fact you had a R&D and innovation team. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, and what are some of the things that excite you about what they're working on?
In the end, there are different kind of approaches. So as I'm the content and the TV guy, and that's for us at least the biggest challenge to reach out to a broader audience is like, when we're talking about Counter-Strike, and I stick to Counter-Strike now, it's like, if you compare it to a soccer match, and you're sitting in the control room, you got the opportunity to show emotions. Because like, okay, hey, there's the soccer match, and you have the players shooting the ball and everything, and then looking back to the World Championship, you got Neymar, and he got fouled, and he's rolling around for 20 minutes. Then I'm in the control room, have the time to show replays, to show fans, to show emotions, to show everything. The pace in esports is much higher. So in Counter-Strike, for example, you only got, because when we cut out during the game to some fans or something like that, you get such a huge shitstorm from the community, because it's like, yeah, missing a penalty or something. So you have to stay inside, and this is always this small gap. And in Counter-Strike, you only have this buying round in between the rounds to say, okay, these are the 15 seconds. So me as a TV guy, I have to decide, okay, do I show a replay, do I show emotions, or do I show players, for example? So one thing we then invented was like because then again, that's another layer of this whole in-game stuff, is the equipment, what the teams are buying is super important for the viewers to say, okay, how they do their money management and stuff like that. And this HUD is normally connected to the in-game part, so you have to stay in-game to get it. So one thing is invented to create an own HUD which is outside of the game. So I, as a TV guy, have the opportunity to show fans and players and emotions, but also have the HUD outside to see what the guys are buying. Same with the camera angles. Normally you got the inside view of, or the first person view of the players, but as there are unlimited camera angles, you also can do smooth camera movements around the map and show different kind of angles in certain situations, stuff like that. This is programmed, and then also the whole API stuff is super interesting to get even more data out of it, and also like for our stage integration. So if you come to one of our events, for example, and you see in Counter-Strike again, there's a bomb planted, then the whole stage starting to blink and stuff like that. So this is all done. It's not done manually, that someone's sitting in the background and just pressing buttons. It's all integrated from the game, and this is stuff where we can do much more, and that's the stuff the guys are working on. And yeah, this is only one game. And then Counter-Strike and Dota are our focus now at the moment. But as we all know, yeah, the Battle Royale games are coming in now. PUBG, Fortnite, the new Call of Duty mod. These are new challenges as well. Like we did PUBG for the first time like last year at Gamescom, and then at one of our stops in Oakland, and this year at Gamescom as well, and then there you have a completely new challenge with 100 players on one map, and then see, okay, how you can, get the storytelling, get every action, get everything into the game. So there are always kind of challenging parts, and that's what the guys are working on, and try to get the best experience for the viewers.
I guess that's it for the questions. Thanks, Chris. We have some real-world printed material there, just a summary of what we do for esports, live video cloud, and playout. And then you can Google Make.TV or ESL, and I'm also here if you have any other questions. And I think we're right on time.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.